if you told us to create a short video or a longer video, whatever, what would you do with that video and where would it be posted? What would the perfect process look like? All right, welcome back, everyone. Hope you're having an awesome day today. I'm feeling a little better. I was under the weather yesterday, much better today. Robert and Connor, they're like about a stone throw away from each other. What city are you guys in today?
We're in Provo, so we're usually in Orem, and we went, 10 miles down the road. Not even that, 5 miles down the road in Orem in a different building.
I love that. I love that. And Mark, where are you, buddy?
I'm in your backyard.
I knew it. My backyard looks nice.
No, Malibu, California. Not interested in this backyard yet.
That's next week when we're working out in my gym.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Today we want to talk about social media and building your brand on social. We wanted to go to this because if you look at the most visited websites in the world, there's still the same 5 that were there as of last year and almost a year before that as well. And that's Google, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And now Twitter's on the news a lot more, which is amazing. I mean, just the fact that somebody would spend that amount of money on social media shows to you how important it is, right? So that's why we want to talk about building a brand around that. And I think it all starts with identifying what we call the pillars or your superpowers or just what you're great at and what you consistently go to when you're creating content. And so if I look at Mark Rader, who's a real estate agent out here in Southern California, he's also a DJ. So his superpowers are, or his pillars would be DJ music, and those are good. Some of those have gone viral. Mark, I've seen them. And real estate, right? And when he's showing property in Malibu, who doesn't like to see that? And then a mix of sometimes his cat, which you'll see in there, and something else. So I think the one thing I want to have everyone identify first within themselves is, what do you consistently go to? What are the things that you talk about the most? And if you would see my background, my other background, it's Star Wars, it's Marvel Comics, and I have a bunch of journals on my desk, right? Those are the things I naturally talk about. I'm a nerd, right? Look, Dungeons and Dragons. So what do you think I talk about all day? And then I pepper in what I do for a living, which is real estate, social media, and business consulting with tech companies. So Connor, what have you seen is the biggest challenge when identifying those pillars for people? Because I think even knowing that you have to do that, it's a challenge.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And one of the things that I've seen is some people are really clear on what they're passionate about and what they want to talk about. And other people are like approaching social media, especially if I'm a real estate agent, right? I want to go on social media and use it to build my business. And if you try to like sell too aggressively or always talking about what you're doing as an agent on social media, it's off-putting. It makes people feel uncomfortable, and it's just not how we connect with each other as human beings. Even if you were in person as an agent at like a listing appointment, you're not just going to talk about the deal, right? You're going to talk about what you did that day or where you got food or what you did over the weekend. And so I think understanding that it's okay to not have every single one of your posts be about selling someone's house is like a shift change that a lot of agents have to make. And one of the things that I would recommend is sit down and write down those 5 things. Like for you, it's Marvel, it's your Dungeons and Dragons, right? Like it's the stuff that you like to do outside of consulting for tech companies. And agents should go and build their topic wheel. They should draw a circle and write their name in the middle of it, and then draw 5 circles around their name and write, what are the topics of interest that I care about, that make me me? And then when you're kind of running into those ruts of creating content, go to that topic wheel of yours and create a video, a 1-minute video about that piece of content. That's what I'd suggest.
I love that.
And I my question for anyone who wants to take it is, So I've got this topic wheel. I obviously want to build my reputation and my business.
Mhm.
How often do I talk about each thing in my top? Should I be like
Mm.
mostly real estate and sometimes Superman, or like mostly Superman, sometimes real estate, or 50-50? Like what do you guys recommend?
I think that really depends on the person, man. So I'll give you an example, and it works both ways, by the way. It just depends what you want your brand to be about. If you want it to be all about delivering real estate news and what's happening in the market in general, I think that can be the bulk of everything if that's what you're going to do. And some of those do extremely well. Or you could be the one that peppers in just a little bit of real estate here and there, and then talks about what you do on your spare time. Like you garden, maybe you're in an ice hockey team, or maybe you're an archer or a kayaker, and that's what you love to do, right? Then you allow people to connect with that part of you, and then you pepper in real estate. I think there's no right answer. The challenge is, and I'm going to share something with you guys. I found it as you guys were talking, is identifying these. So my social media manager went through the last 3 months of what I've created on social, and she made 4 different pillars, right, in pink, and then she had sub pillars under each, right, subheadings. So personal development, business coaching, real estate, and social media. And then she said, based on everything that you've done, these are the ones that do well and that people gravitate to. So personal development, you talk about books, journals, and life advice. Business coaching, that's what it looks like. Real estate news. But the ones that you did with Anson, who's my son, those did really well. Like I just grabbed my son, I'd be like, Anson, want to take a look at homes on the beach? And he's like, yeah, or no, not today, right? And those did really well. And then you saw the bottom piece of that was social media trends. And we talk a lot about social media, and some of those do really well. But just having something like that you could go to where you're stuck and you're like, what should I talk about today, right? That just
Yeah.
makes life a lot easier.
Totally agree. It's like if you're wondering what to create or how often you should be creating, I think it's really important too to remember, like, why do people follow you in the first place, right? There's 2 reasons someone follows you online. They either know you, or you know something and what they want to know more about, right? And so generally, if I'm a real estate agent, it's like people know me, you're in my sphere of influence, or I know something as a real estate agent about buying and selling homes that a home buyer or home seller doesn't know, right? Like for me, I don't know a lot about cooking, but I want to learn more. So I follow Gordon Ramsay, right? I don't know Gordon Ramsay, but that's why I care about following him. And so you as an agent have to figure out a way to both help people who know you care about what you know about, and help the people that are there because of what you know get to know you better. So you want to have that balance of content that lets people get to know, like, and trust you. But at the same time, you want to be making content that shows off that expertise. And so that balance really comes down to a lot about how you talk about those things. I think generally, what Tristan's showing you, those topics, those pillars of content, identifying those and just get into a cadence, right? The way that we do it at Storyy, the company I co-founded, we send out prompts once a day around 5 topics throughout the week, and that gives you kind of like a cadence, right? And then if you're on that cadence, then you're gonna make sure you're having a diversity of content, so you're not sounding like, when you go into like the mall and there's this song that you hear and you're like, man, this is a great song, and then you hear it at the gas station, then you hear it on the radio, and then you hear it like on your Spotify playlist, and it just gets old. You're like, I really liked this song, but I'm sick of it. That's how it becomes with your content if you're talking about the same thing every single day. You got to find a way to shuffle the songs. You got to find a way to change up your messaging so you don't just become white noise that people start to tune out in their feed.
That's true, man. That's true. And one way we're able to do that is, besides identifying these pillars, is being able to go with trends, because I think trends are really important but are underused. And we can go to the news, we can go to each social outlet has trends as well, whether they're musical trends or whether they're real trends in the media. Like, who's not talking about inflation right now, right? Inflation, interest rate hike, where's the market going, right? How does the war with Ukraine and Russia affect all these questions that our audience as real estate agents have, that we could be answering in 60 seconds or less is important. And I think those are opportunities that sometimes we overlook, right? There's a question by Trina Daniels, what's up? And she says, so do you recommend just having one page on Facebook or Instagram then? So there's a blend of topics, personal and real estate related. What do you recommend, Connor?
Great question. So people ask this, a similar question with like, should I be posting to a business page or a personal profile on Facebook? Comes up all the time. And there's advantages to both. So, on the one hand, if you have a personal profile, those are all your friends, right? You've got a lot of your connections already there, but there's some limitations there, right? You're going to cap out at 5,000 people. Maybe you're not trying to get to 5,000, but if you care about that, you'll cap out there. But the more important piece is that you don't get any analytics or zero ability to run ads. And so I recommend to agents, you should be posting to a Facebook page. Now, how you construct that page is important. If I go and I'm an agent, here in Utah, in Salt Lake County, and I put Salt Lake County's Mega Pro Real Estate Agent as my page name, my engagement is going to be bad compared to if I call that page Connor Snyder. Because the thing you got to remember is if I post to the page or my personal profile and that name is the exact same, in the feed, it looks the exact same to the person who's viewing it. In terms of how it's presented in the algorithm, it looks the exact same and is recommended the same. The biggest factor in whether people see that content is if the content quality is good, if the message is relatable, if people feel like they got to know you better, or if you shared something that's worth knowing about. And so I would recommend have a business page and post there, because the thing you're really going to want to be able to do is use custom audiences to make sure your content is seen by your sphere of influence. So the average person, on Facebook, if you post to your Facebook page, is going to see a 5 to 10% view rate of the people who actually follow you, viewing your content, right? And even smaller fraction of that are going to engage. The way you get around this is you create a custom audience with your sphere of influence. It's basically you download the CSV out of your CRM, you put it into Facebook as an audience that you create, and then you spend a couple of dollars when you post content. And what that does is it takes your group of people and shows them your content in the feed. And so what you end up doing is making sure that with just, about $30, if you're doing about $1 a day in ad spend, the people in your CRM are regularly seeing your face. It's like trying to be top of mind with email, but so much more powerful because it's your face, your message, and getting people to know, like, and trust you as they're just sitting there scrolling. So that's what I'd recommend in terms of, do you post to Facebook and Instagram? Yes, both, but make sure that you're doing it with the business tools so that you have the ability to run ads in the future.
Yeah, I love that, man. Good addition. Robert?
And that I was going to say, and that's different than an ad, right? Because an ad has this goal of a conversion or getting them to your page, or you're paying for an action. Or when you boost your posts to your audience, whether that's your sphere, your own CRM, or I might recommend expireds and FSBOs in your area, whatever audience you're boosting that to, it's about reputation, right? It's about them seeing your face and getting to know you. And so when you knock on their door or you call them, they're like, oh yeah, Connor, I totally know you, even though maybe you've never met face to face, because you just showed up in their feed over and over again. And they're like, I know Connor, and he likes dogs, and he also is a realtor, right? Like there's this connection made that isn't an ad, but it's building a reputation for people to know you and what you're about.
Yeah, good point, man. Very good point. I think that both of these need to be considered highly, right? Consistently post where it's organic to your personal Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, and then use the tools that you have to put some money behind your brand, right? When you've identified what it is that you're going to talk about to your audience, if you say, hey, I'm going to help out first-time home buyers that are millennials, that's going to be my messaging, right? Then it's time to put some money behind that, right? And this strategy works for everybody. Scott, I'm going to show you something, and Connor probably has something to say about this as well. So let me share a screen with you. You're going to like this. This
Hey,
is,
while you're pulling that up, Tristan. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, one of the things you got to be keeping in mind too, because Tristan was saying, you got to be consistent. And consistency is so important here, because I see this happen with agents all the time. They post their first piece of content, and it's like, they don't get much engagement. They feel like it was weird, it looked weird, and you've got to remember that creating video content, it feels like the first time you called someone on the phone, right? Like, it feels a little awkward, it feels a little uncomfortable, and you've got to practice that skill. It's not going to be perfect your first video, and you've got to just accept that and be okay with it. It's not about going viral, right? It's not about going viral. It's about going deep with the audience you care about, right? You want to be seen by the right people, not seen by everybody on the planet. And so being consistent allows you to be seen by the right people, because you teach the algorithm to be seen by those people. So sorry to derail a little bit, Tristan. I just wanted to add that's what you're saying.
That's part of everything, dude. It's a consistency in this. Look, I've been building out LabCoatAgents for now, what, 9 years almost, and it wasn't an instant hit. It was me posting daily for years, and people are like, oh, "You're crazy," and obviously I'm not crazy. Well, maybe, but as far as that goes, I wasn't crazy. And I want to show you something, Scott. This is something that we created for Facebook and Instagram for corporate. And then they have me teach this to companies outside of real estate. So not just for real estate, but other verticals like Jack in the Box and car sales companies. But this is our business calendar. What we do is, it's a simple formula that we circulate through. It's STAY, and it starts right here, which is, this one continued from the previous month. This is the month of May. And STAY just stands for sell, teach, advice, you. It prompts the business, it prompts the person to kind of give them an idea of what they should be talking about, just to get you going in the right direction. So for instance, last month, which is April, right? We're almost done with April, but it ended with A. So we start with A right here. What's your favorite social media platform? That's kind of what the prompt would be. So if Mark was reading it, it'd be like, I love Instagram because of, or I love Twitter because it gives you something to talk about. Next, let's talk about you, right? Take a photo of your pet or your favorite animal, because people want to know a little bit more about you. It alternates between your business and you. Next, sell. Are you getting enough value from us? Yes or no? Talk about the value that you are giving, and if they're missing it out, what can you do more of? And then going to teach. This one's May the 4th be with you, because May 4th is coming up. All of the Star Wars fans, so that's soon. Well, what's your favorite Star Wars movie? And then teach a little bit about Star Wars. We don't usually use the teach one to teach about things we love, but it's usually teach about something that we're already in the business of. So if you're in real estate, take the opportunity to teach about home inspections, or why interest rates go up and down and how they're tied to the treasury bond, right? Or whatever it is. Just alternate.
Yeah, and Tristan, how do we get an updated calendar coming up pretty soon here in May?
Let me give you this one. I think this is practically done. So if you find any errors, it's because we haven't fully revised it, but I'll let you have this one right now. I'll dump it into the chat for you. And
Tristan, while you're doing that, I just wanted to mention one of the reasons why I was excited to have Connor here with us, because Connor, besides being head of product here at Red X, is the co-founder of a company called Storyy. Because here's what we're talking about, right? You're saying, hey, let's post every day on 5 different topics, and make sure you're alternating them correctly. And then if you look in your background, you've got all this fancy camera equipment. I've seen you post before, Tristan. You're like, hey, here's the camera I use, here's this I use, and it's awesome. But if I'm an agent, even if I'm an experienced agent but haven't done social before, that can look a little overwhelming, right? Like, I don't normally do videos. I don't feel comfortable making a video yet. I don't even know what to say without stuttering, whatever it might be. Well, that's Connor has put together, we actually call it Brand Builder here at Red X, a way that a real estate agent can connect with Connor's company and have this be much more automated. It's still you, it's still authentic, it's still your message, but they're going to help you through that. And Connor, you should tell a little bit more about it that way. But because there is this sense of like, can I really subscribe to this many services and buy all that equipment and have that much time daily while I'm actually trying to sell houses as well? And so there are solutions out there to help you.
Yeah, I can definitely talk about this. And I think Tristan, in your comment here in the chat, videos being suggested over static posts, but you should alternate is so important. Like, there is so much nuance to doing social media well, right? And it's really intimidating if you're not someone that's super online, spending all of their time on Facebook and Instagram, right? And even if you're aware of those nuances, creating the content to keep the variety up and be able to keep your content engaging is pretty intensive, right? And so the way that we do it with Storyy through RedX, with RedX Brand Builder, and we've got a wait list for that. If you're not a RedX customer, if you are, you can feel free to reach out to Robert. But the way that this works is we send prompts throughout the week to somebody. We're going to have you choose topics you care about: real estate, leadership, relationships. We'll send you prompts and you'll see a kind of a structure, a loose structure that you can use to create a video. And so you'll create about 10 videos each month. And then what our team does is takes those 10 videos and repurposes that content to give you that variety to be interesting in the feed. So while you might send us a video, we're going to edit that video and create a really edited, engaging video, but we're also going to create a graphic with quotes. We're also going to create an audiogram so that it's engaging in a different format. And so as someone's seeing you inside of their feed, you've always got new content, not just in terms of what you're talking about, but in terms of how it looks. And that helps it stay fresh and not feel like it's the same song getting played all the time. But it's about making sure that you as the agent have this really authentic presence online. I think it's really easy for an agent to just be like, I'm going to go on Pinterest or Google Images, grab a picture of a house and throw it on my feed, right? Or I'm just going to take a screenshot of this photo on the MLS listing and like share it here. And that's just not how social media works, right? It's like if you go to a really nice restaurant, but like you just got off the soccer field and your clothes are all dirty and you're looking, everyone's going to look at you like, what are you doing here? Did you not realize what this was? This isn't the soccer field. This is a nice restaurant. In the same way with social media, you've got to understand, if I'm going to be here on Instagram, I've got to act like I'm on Instagram and not act like I'm on the MLS, right? Or that I'm at a listing appointment. I have to contribute and interact here like people interact. And so that's really what we're doing with RedX Brand Builder, is making sure that we simplify it. So all you're doing is making a 1-minute video, but then we give you the maximum amount of mileage as possible with that one piece of content, so as many people see it. And again, like we were talking about earlier, taking that list of people in your sphere or the list of leads that you want to sell to and promote that content in an organic way, not in a way that's like an ad, but in a way that just looks like you and shows up in their feed.
Connor,
so they see you.
Take me through a process really quick. If we were to create, if you told us with the company Storyy here, if you told us to create a short video or a longer video, whatever, what would you do with that video and where would it be posted? What would the perfect process look like?
Totally. So the way this works is we'll send you a prompt with a text message. You'll get a text message and we'll send you a prompt about leadership, for example. And it'll say, tell us 3 things about a leader that you admired. And we'll have a hook so that you can grab people's attention, right? The main message of that piece of content, and kind of an outro to make it relatable back to that, your audience of people that are watching your content. So you'll record that video on your phone and then upload it to our team. And our team will take that video, and what we're going to go through is we're going to clean it up. Like, if you've ever tried to make video before, that feeling of like, I just said too many times, I stumbled over my words, I sounded so weird. We're going to go through and find all those places that aren't perfect and edit them out. So that way you can just worry about saying everything you want to say. And if you stumble, you just keep filming and keep going. We'll clean up the video. And then our team is going to go through and do a couple things. We're going to identify the golden nuggets of your content, right? So these are the things where you drop like a big truth bomb. It's like 1 or 2 or 3 sentences, right? We're going to go and find those things in the video that we can then turn into quote graphics or swipe up story content, right? We're going to turn that into pieces of content that are not just that video. Then our team's going to go and edit that video to feel native to the platform. One of the things that people do wrong sometimes with video editing, for social specifically, is they go and make it look like an ad. They add so much pizzazz and so much flash that now when you see it, it's like, oh, this is just an ad. I'm going to scroll past and ignore this, just like everything else. What we do is we edit the video to look like you used the native tools of the platform to create it. So we're going to have the similar fonts, similar backgrounds, pop-up stickers and pop-up animations, the kind of thing that makes it feel native and natural, but at the same time unique and not the same thing that other people could do. So you stand out and capture attention. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take that content and promote it to your list of leads through RedX. So RedX obviously is known for expired leads, also for FSBO leads, Furbo leads, but pre-foreclosure leads, but also our geo leads, like leads that you geo target in a specific location. We're going to take those leads and we're going to actually make sure that your content is seen by that group of people. So when you're calling or knocking on doors or sending out mailers, they recognize you as the guy that was talking about real estate or talking about Marvel in their feed, right? And so now you've got a relationship before you've even actually talked to this person. They feel like they already know, like, and trust you because they've gotten to know you, right? And so that's kind of like the ideal process is an agent just makes a 1-minute video and our team goes and posts that content to Facebook and Instagram. That's where we go and put this content because those are the biggest platforms.
What's the website we would go to check out what you do, or how do we get a hold of you?
Yeah, so what you'll want to do is you're going to want to talk to Robert here. So we're building a wait list right now. If you are not a RedX customer, all you need to do is email marketing@redx.com and we'll add you to the RedX brand builder wait list. If you're currently a RedX customer, you can sign up for this right now. And so all you need to do is reach out to Robert and we will be able to get you set up with RedX brand builder. We've got customers on it right now. I was talking to one of them just the other day, and he said that since he started using us just a couple of weeks ago, he had 4 times the engagement that he was getting beforehand, right? And so this is just by simply having some extra help with the content, boom, all the people are paying attention, right? It's getting out of obscurity and staying top of mind.
All right.
I am down for this. I'm gonna try this out.
And we're excited, and the truth is, Tristan and Mark, this is brand new for the audience. So we've released it to a small group of people in our audience and with our customers. And today is kind of like talking with you and your audience. This is the first time we've talked outside our customers to say, hey, go ahead and contact us and we'll connect you with some people that either could get you started or at least have you on the wait list as we grow this. Because as you can imagine, when our team or Connor's team is making, 30 to 50 pieces of content from one video, there's a lot of work to be done. So we can't just have thousands of people sign up for it at a time. We're getting small groups of people at a time, getting them on and getting them onboarded right so that it's the right content and it looks good and it is you, authentically you. And so, yeah, this is kind of special that we get to reach out to the LabCoats audience and say,
Dude.
hey, let us know if you want to give this a try and help with social. I mean, and the other thing is that I want to be super clear. Everything that Connor shared with us about social works if you do it yourself too. Like these are just principles that work. But we know that it can be daunting and time consuming. And so there's a solution to help you out too.
Yeah. And I'll leave you guys with this because we're finishing up right on time. Go to Wikipedia, find the most visited websites in the world. This is recent: Google, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Jeez, like what else do you need? Where should you be? Right? You should be there. So email Robert. He'll help you guys out. If you're with RedX, even better. You get to cut the line sooner. Sorry, Mark, you don't get to cut the line. I'm joking.
Where's the will call?
All right, everybody. Robert, Connor, Mark, thanks so much, everybody.
Later, guys.
Thank you.